Listen to me, life is hard. Ain't no sugarcoating that. You can wake up every morning, get dressed, put on that smile like everything's fine, and deep down still feel like the world's collapsing inside you. And that's the part no one wants to talk about. We live in a world that tells you to hustle, grind, perform, succeed. But it rarely tells you to stop and check in with yourself. It rarely tells you to sit down, breathe, and ask, how am I doing? How's my mind holding up? That question alone can be life-changing if you have the courage to answer it honestly. We're taught to chase success like it's the only thing that matters. Get the bag, build the brand, stack your paper. Work harder than everybody else, and while that's good, ambition is good, what they don't teach you is what happens when you finally get there and still feel empty inside, when you reach the top of your own ladder and realize your soul's still hungry. When your body's exhausted and your mind's screaming for rest, but you keep pushing cause you think rest means weakness. That's the lie we've been sold. That's the lie that's breaking people down silently every day. You can't be everything to everyone and nothing to yourself. You can't keep showing up for people and ignoring the man or woman in the mirror. Let me tell you something. People are carrying pain, shame, pressure, depression, anxiety, and trauma like it's normal. Like it's part of the daily routine, but let me be the one to tell you it ain't normal. It's common, yeah. A lot of folks are walking around smiling in public and crying in the dark. A lot of people are laughing in front of others, but broken behind closed doors. We need to stop glorifying burnout and start prioritizing healing. There was a time in my life I thought being tired was just part of being grown. I thought feeling numb, disconnected, and frustrated was just the price you pay for chasing dreams. I thought having no time for myself meant I was doing it right, but that wasn't it. That was a trap. That was survival mode. That was me ignoring myself, neglecting myself, betraying myself in the name of productivity. And that's what too many people are doing right now, living in survival mode, thinking that's what strength looks like. But strength is not silence. Strength is not self-neglect. Strength is honesty. Strength is saying, I'm not okay, and I need to figure out why. You know what's funny? We live in an age where you can update your phone, charge your laptop, fuel up your car, and schedule a dentist appointment like clockwork. But when it comes to the health of our minds, we procrastinate. We pretend. We avoid. We make excuses. You wouldn't drive your car with the check engine light flashing for a week straight. You wouldn't leave your phone dead for days. But you'll walk around with a heavy heart and a stressed mind and act like that's fine. That don't make sense. It's time we start valuing our inner world the same way we value everything else. Mental health is not just about depression or anxiety. It's about peace. It's about clarity. It's about balance. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about knowing when to pause, knowing when to say no, knowing when to unplug, knowing when to call a friend and say, hey, I just need someone to listen. That's self-care. That's preservation, that's survival, and more than that, it's your responsibility. You are responsible for how you treat yourself, for how you care for your mind, for how you speak to your spirit. You ever notice how we talk to other people with so much love and understanding, but we talk to ourselves like we're enemies, mess up at work, I'm so stupid, forget something important, man, I'm a failure, go through a rough day. What's wrong with me? But if someone you cared about came to you with the same struggles, you'd be kind, you'd offer encouragement, you'd remind them of their worth. So why don't we do the same for ourselves? Start noticing the way you talk to you. That voice in your head, it matters. It shapes your world. If all you hear is criticism, shame, doubt, and negativity, that becomes your reality. But if you begin to speak life, speak truth, speak power, you change the whole trajectory of your mind. That's not just motivational fluff, that's science, that's psychology. Your brain listens to your voice more than anybody else's. So start speaking life into your days. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to earn peace. You don't have to accomplish everything on your to-do list before you're allowed to take a break. Rest is not a reward, it's a necessity. Peace is not something you buy, it's something you create. And that creation starts when you stop glorifying being busy all the time. Some of y'all are addicted to busy. always doing, always running, always chasing. But what are you running from? Sometimes we keep moving just so we don't have to sit with ourselves. But healing happens in the stillness. And listen, self-care doesn't have to be a production. It ain't just candles, bubble baths, and spa days. Those are nice, sure, but real self-care is deeper than that. Sometimes it's saying no to people who drain you. Sometimes it's turning off the news because your mind needs peace more than information. Sometimes it's journaling at midnight because your soul is screaming to be heard. Sometimes it's setting boundaries with your family because you've been the emotional dumping ground for too long. Sometimes it's letting yourself cry, really cry, without apologizing for it. You ever had one of those days where you're smiling on the outside but dying on the inside? I've been there, most of us have, and that's when you know something's off. That's when your spirit is saying, hey, stop ignoring me, take care of me. That's when the strongest thing you can do is ask for help. Let me tell you, there is no shame in getting help. Talk to a counselor, find a therapist, open up to a trusted friend. Mental health is not a luxury. It's a priority. And the bravest thing you'll ever do is choose to face what's hurting you instead of pretending it ain't there. People always talk about chasing your dreams, and I'm all for that. Chase them, run hard, but don't lose yourself in the process. What good is reaching the top if you're falling apart inside? What good is making money if your mind's a mess? What good is building an empire if your peace is crumbling? Success without mental health is just a dressed-up prison. It might look good on the outside, but you're still locked up inside. That's not the life you were meant for. Some of y'all need to give yourselves permission to slow down. You've been moving at 100 miles per hour trying to prove something. Maybe to your parents, maybe to your ex, maybe to society. But let me ask you this. When do you stop and prove something to yourself? When do you say, I deserve peace, I deserve rest, I deserve joy, not because you earned it, but because you're worthy of it simply by being alive? You know what I learned. The most successful people I've ever met aren't the ones with the biggest bank accounts. They're the ones who sleep at night. They're the ones who wake up with joy. They're the ones who know how to say no, how to set limits, how to protect their energy. That's the kind of success I'm after now. And I hope that's what you're after too, because you can always get more stuff. But peace is priceless. You ever walk into a room and feel drained before you even sit down? That's not just coincidence. That's your spirit recognizing energy that ain't right. You gotta start trusting that. You gotta start listening to that inner voice that says, this situation ain't for me. These people ain't good for me. This habit ain't serving me. That's self-care too. Learning to listen to yourself, learning to trust yourself, learning to walk away from things that no longer fit the version of you that's healing. I know a lot of us were raised to be strong. Don't cry. Tough it out, keep it moving, but you can be strong and still feel. You can be tough and still break sometimes. You can be resilient and still need rest. There is no shame in being human. Don't let nobody tell you that struggling makes you weak. It makes you real, and it gives you the chance to grow into a version of yourself you never even knew was possible. Stop thinking you have to carry everything by yourself. Life is heavy. It was never meant to be carried alone. Find your people, find your tribe, open your heart, be honest. Vulnerability ain't weakness. Vulnerability is connection, and connection is what helps us heal. You are not meant to suffer in silence. You are not meant to keep pretending everything's fine when you're falling apart. You are meant to heal, to rise, to thrive, and let me say this clearly, no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. Somebody else has been where you are, somebody else understands, somebody else made it out, and you can too. You are not broken, you are not too far gone, you are not weak, you are healing, you are growing. You are learning to love yourself in a world that constantly tells you not to. That alone is strength. So if nobody told you lately, let me be the one. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to rest. It's okay to feel. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to put yourself first. You deserve peace. You deserve love. You deserve joy. And it all starts with how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, and how you care for yourself every single day. You can't keep giving the world the best of you when you keep giving yourself the leftovers. That's real. So many people walk through life doing everything for everybody else. You play hero to your family, the motivator at work, the friend that always listens, the one holding it all together, and yet when you're alone, you feel completely drained. And that's not because you're weak. It's because you're running on empty. You're trying to give what you don't have anymore. You've poured out so much that you've forgotten to refill, and you can't pour from an empty cup. We live in a world that loves productivity, but overlooks well-being. It praises the grind, but ignores the burnout. It celebrates those who push through the pain, but rarely checks on the people who are quietly breaking. And if you're not careful, you'll start to believe that your value is only tied to what you produce, that if you're not constantly achieving something, then you're not enough. But that's a lie. You're not a machine. You're a human being with emotions, needs, limits, and a soul that needs care just as much as your body. The hardest thing some of y'all will ever do is slow down, not because you're lazy, but because you've been taught that rest equals failure. You feel guilty when you're not busy. You feel like you're falling behind when you take a moment to breathe. But let me tell you something. You're not behind, you're healing, you're recharging, you're coming back stronger. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is pause, not quit. Pause. Take a moment to regroup, refocus, and remember why you started in the first place. See, nobody teaches us how to sit with ourselves. We're taught to run from discomfort. When we feel sadness, we distract ourselves. When we feel stress, we scroll our phones. When we feel overwhelmed, we turn on noise just to drown out our thoughts. But healing doesn't happen in the noise. It happens in the quiet. It happens when you stop running from your feelings and start listening to them. Your emotions are messengers. They're trying to tell you something. Anger might be pointing to a boundary that's been crossed. Sadness might be signaling grief that needs processing. Anxiety might be a sign you've been carrying too much for too long. And let's talk about that anxiety for a second. Because it's real. Some of y'all are waking up with tight chests and heavy hearts, and you don't even know why. You've normalized being on edge. You've gotten used to surviving. But surviving is not the same as living. You shouldn't have to live with your shoulders always tense and your mind always racing. Peace should be your baseline, not panic. And I know that ain't easy. I know anxiety doesn't just disappear because someone tells you to calm down. That's not how it works. But what you can do is start creating a life that supports your peace instead of stealing it. That means making choices that honor your mental space. That means saying no when everything in you wants to say yes just to avoid disappointing someone. That means cutting off conversations that drain you. That means logging off for a day if social media is making you feel like you're not good enough. That means building a routine that includes not just hustle, but healing. A routine that has room for stillness, for prayer, for gratitude, for real joy. And listen, I get it. Some people grew up in environments where emotions weren't allowed, where expressing how you felt was met with silence or shame. Some of you were taught to be strong by being numb, but being numb ain't strength. Being numb is just survival, and now that you're older, it's your responsibility to unlearn that, to heal from that. To give yourself the love you didn't receive, because healing is reparenting yourself. It's learning how to comfort your inner child. It's telling that part of you, I see you, I hear you, you matter. You don't need to have it all figured out to take care of yourself. You don't need to be perfect to deserve rest. You don't need to be healed to start healing. You just need to make the decision to show up for yourself every day, even if that looks different every day. Some days you might feel like climbing a mountain. Other days, getting out of bed might be the victory. Celebrate both, honor both, because they both matter on this journey. Sometimes self-care is not glamorous. Sometimes it's gritty. Sometimes it's making a phone call you've been avoiding because it's been weighing on you. Sometimes it's opening up about something you've buried for years. Sometimes it's admitting you're struggling even though everyone thinks you're the strong one. Sometimes it's choosing to let go of a relationship that's been toxic for too long. That's not easy. That's real work. But that's where the healing is. And don't ever let anyone shame you for needing help. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs somebody. Nobody was meant to carry their burdens alone. We're communal beings, we're wired for connection, and yet so many people suffer in silence because they think asking for help means they're weak. Nah, asking for help means you're wise. It means you understand your limits. It means you value yourself enough to fight for your healing. Whether it's a therapist, a mentor, a friend, or a support group, find your circle. And if you don't have one, start building one. One honest conversation can change everything. You gotta watch the company you keep too. Energy is contagious. You can be doing all the right things for your mental health, but if you're surrounded by people who are constantly negative, always complaining, or emotionally unavailable, it's gonna weigh you down. Protect your peace. You are not obligated to stay in environments that suffocate your spirit. I don't care if it's family, friends, coworkers. If the energy is toxic, love them from a distance. Boundaries aren't about being rude. Boundaries are about being well, and while we're on the subject of boundaries, set them with yourself too. That's self-respect. Set limits on how much you give. Set limits on how much you work without resting. Set limits on how much time you spend overthinking, comparing, regretting. Because your time and your energy are precious. Don't waste them on things that don't build you up. Now let's talk about self-love, because that's the foundation of all this. Self-love ain't about arrogance. It's not about being self-centered. It's about being self-aware. It's about looking at yourself with compassion. It's about knowing that you are enough, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And when you really love yourself, you don't let just anything slide. You don't tolerate disrespect. You don't stay in places that dim your light. You don't ignore your own needs just to keep the peace. You create peace within, and you protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Gratitude plays a role in this too. When your mind is heavy, gratitude brings light. It doesn't mean pretending everything's okay when it's not. It means finding something good even in the storm. Maybe it's the breath in your lungs. Maybe it's the roof over your head. Maybe it's the one friend who always checks on you. Maybe it's the fact that you're still standing. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it makes space for joy in the middle of it. And sometimes that's all you need to keep going. Let me say this to the ones who feel tired, bone deep tired. The ones who are carrying silent battles and smiling through their pain. You are not alone, you are not forgotten, and you are not failing. You are showing up the best way you can, and that is enough. Healing is not linear. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress. Other days you'll feel like you're going backwards, but every step counts, every breath is a victory. Every moment you choose to keep going is proof of your strength. And to those who feel lost right now, like you're in a fog, like you don't know who you are anymore, you are not broken. You are evolving, you are shedding old layers, you are being stretched into a version of yourself that's wiser, stronger, more aligned. The confusion is part of the process. Don't rush it, don't judge it. Just stay present, just keep showing up. The clarity will come. And for the ones who have been told to just get over it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry the world made you feel like your pain didn't matter. I'm sorry people dismissed your struggle because they couldn't understand it. But let me be clear, what you feel is real, your emotions are valid, and healing is not something you snap your fingers and complete. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes grace, so give yourself all three. You are worthy of care, worthy of joy, worthy of love, worthy of healing, not because of what you do, not because of how strong you've been, but simply because you are here, you exist, and that alone makes you worthy. Mental health and self-care ain't a trend, it's a lifestyle. It's a decision you make every day to choose yourself, to protect your energy, to honor your journey, to nurture your mind. It's not selfish. It's essential, because the better you take care of you, the more you can give to the world around you. Your healing creates space for other people to heal too. Your peace becomes a light for others to see. So keep going, keep breathing, keep loving yourself even on the days it's hard. Keep choosing peace over pressure, healing over hustle, and self-respect over self-neglect. You've come too far to stop now. And your best days, they're still ahead of you. Let me leave you with this. Your peace is not optional. Your healing is not a side project. Your mental health is not a weakness. It's your power. It's your foundation. Because when your mind is right, your spirit rises. When your heart is whole, your steps are stronger. And when you love yourself enough to rest, to reset, to rise again, you become unstoppable. You don't need permission to take care of you. You don't need to apologize for choosing peace. You don't need to explain why you're protecting your energy, walking away from chaos, or choosing joy over drama. That's not selfish. That's survival with purpose. That's self-love in action. So from this moment on, promise yourself something. Promise to show up for you, to speak kindly to you, to honor your emotions, to prioritize your peace. You've spent enough time surviving. Now it's time to start living, not just existing, but thriving, and that starts with taking care of the most important person in your life. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are right on time for your healing, your growth, your comeback. And when you choose to care for your mind, you don't just change your life. You change your legacy, so go on now, heal boldly, rest unapologetically, and love yourself fiercely, because you deserve it, every single bit of it.